Does Anthropic genuinely care about humanity and safety, or is it just another marketing strategy? When Claude was used to plan attack on children's school in Iran, why Anthropic was quiet? Let's discuss. So Anthropic has built its entire brand around being the responsible, careful player in the AI race. There's this narrative, now widely accepted, that OpenAI is moving recklessly fast, while Anthropic is the only company saying, hey, slow down, we actually care about whether this thing destroys civilization. Dario gives these interviews where he talks about existential risk, catastrophic AI, the importance of safety. He's very convincing. You listen to him and you think, at least someone in this industry has a conscience. This narrative exists only for OpenAI, not for other competitors like Google DeepMind. They're in the exact same race. And yet Dario never goes after them in interviews. Could that be because Google has invested heavily in Anthropic? Is this safety first positioning partly a strategy to slow down OpenAI while Anthropic catches up? I'd genuinely like to know, and it's not just me noticing this. OpenAI's revenue chief Denise Dresser is accusing them of building their entire brand on fear, restriction, and the idea that a small group of elites should control AI. She even claimed Anthropic is inflating its revenue numbers. Meanwhile, Amazon, which was backing Anthropic, dropped $50 billion into OpenAI and became their exclusive cloud provider. Anthropic is losing ground, and the responsible narrative is starting to look less like a mission and more like a moat. And now the Iran thing has happened, and why Dario didn't care to say no AI should be used to attack civilians. U.S. military used Claude to help plan and execute strikes on Iran. Claude was embedded in something called Palantir's Maven smart system, which was proposing target lists, prioritizing them, giving coordinates. In the first 24 hours, over 1,000 targets were hit. The head of U.S. Central Command literally went on camera and said that AI turned processes that used to take days into seconds. And these strikes were happening in dense urban areas, schools, power grids, the stuff normal people depend on to survive. There's real documented concern about civilian casualties. They didn't say anything about Iran thing, but they did push back on the Pentagon in other ways. The government wanted what they called unrestricted access to Claude for all lawful purposes, and Dario said no. He put out a public statement saying Anthropic couldn't in good conscience agree to that, and it cost them. Trump banned federal agencies from using Anthropic. The defense secretary called the decision a masterclass in arrogance and betrayal, which, honestly, if Pete Hegseth is mad at you, you might be doing something right. And within hours, OpenAI swooped in and took the contract. They got the backlash and they totally deserved it, but suddenly Anthropic became the hero and humanity's saviors. Like it's on the rank first on App Store, data is showing million peoples are using it, but Dario was willing to lose contracts over, was about protecting American citizens from American surveillance. But what about non-Americans? You're the company that says your mission is humanity, and when your AI is being used to generate target on a children's school is getting hit, you said nothing. Does that mean Dario only cares about Americans and not about the rest of the world? And look, I know military will use AI in operations. That's just the reality of where we are. OpenAI took the contracts, but they don't really pretend to be the saint. They didn't build their brand like Anthropic. I disagree with them, but at least there's no giant gap between their brand and their behavior. Anthropic built their entire brand on being different, on being the ones who would slow down and ask the hard ethical questions. And the hard ethical question here is, does it matter if the people being harmed by your AI aren't American? Which brings me to something I can't stop thinking about. What if this whole responsible AI thing is just a brilliant competitive strategy? Think about it from a pure business perspective. You're in an industry full of companies moving aggressively. If you position yourself as the careful one, you get the researchers who have actual ethics. You get enterprise clients who need to tell their boards they made the responsible choice. You get governments who want plausible deniability when they get criticized. And it worked. Anthropic had a $200 million defense contract. They were the first to get deeply embedded in US intelligence and defense systems. They built a whole government-specific version of their product. That's not a company that reluctantly ended up in the military space. That's a company that deliberately built the infrastructure to be there. So when I watch Dario in interviews, very polished, very measured, always subtly pointing out what competitors are doing wrong without naming them directly, I start to wonder, how much of this is mission and how much of this is positioning? So my question for Anthropic is simple: which one are you? If the answer is that you care about safe AI for humanity, then say no to civilians' harm. Draw a red line that doesn't stop at the American border. Let me know your thoughts on Anthropic. Did you also expect it a lot from Anthropic like me? And I'll see you in the next one.